Hey, everybody. So I did not warn you that we were going to be going live today, but surprise, we're live. And I'm sure you're wondering, where are we? And who is this fabulous woman sitting next to me? First of all, I want to introduce you to Diana Griffith. She is Orlando Lady Boss. She has her own podcast. And we are recording for her podcast.
Yes.
But I said to her, why don't we go on Facebook Live too? And we could preview everything that's going to be in the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is what you're hearing now is what you're going to hear on the podcast too. So if you are catching a little bit of this on Facebook Live right now and you can't watch it all, on Friday you can download the episode on iTunes, on Google Play, anywhere where you can listen to a podcast, and you can listen to an audio version of our interview.
Hooray!
Yeah.
I love technology.
So there's all different types of ways for you, everyone out there, to listen to this.
Yeah, and consume the content. So we have our drinks ready.
Yes.
Listen, I have to showcase this. Everybody who knows me and is friends with me knows that I'm a Yankee fan. Even though they are not in the World Series, I still have to represent. So we'll be having our iced tea and our water as we chat with you. And welcome to my home. This is my living room.
Yeah.
My son's sleeping upstairs, so we'll see how long we have.
Yes. We're on a toddler schedule right now.
That's exactly right. So I'm actually going to turn everything over to you.
Yes.
Right? I'm not the interviewer this time.
No, I am the interviewer. And so now I said I felt a little intimidated because I'm interviewing a journalist or a former journalist.
Yeah.
But let's start from where I start, which is welcome, Michelle, to the show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
And can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes. So for those of you who watch all videos on this platform, I always say my name is Michelle Berto. I'm a former television news anchor, and now I teach small business owners how to look good and sound good on camera. And now we're expanding that to, and I'm trying this out. So tell me if you guys like this, that it's not just for on camera, it's on camera, online, and on stage. So presentation training as well. And also how to use Facebook Live and look good and sound good in the new technology world that we live in.
Yeah, and you're kind of getting my feet wet a little bit on the Facebook Live. I've been with other people where they were doing Facebook Live, but I've never been like the front and center of Facebook Live. So I'm feeling a little intimidated, but I know it's something a lot of small business owners need. I know it's something I'm thinking about in my 2018 content scheduling. So why is it that we need to be thinking about video as small business owners?
So I go through the sequence of how we came up to this point on Facebook Live. And, you know, it's a convergence of so many different types of media all moving forward together. So my example is we all started off with blogging, right? Everybody was blogging, retro 2010, 2012. And then we moved from blogging to podcasting. And now from podcasting, we're moving into video. And really, we need to be thinking about live video. And then beyond that, we're already at 360 video.
Yes, I've seen that with some setups. The 360 video is insane.
And it's not even done yet. Now, there's live 360 video.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then it's virtual reality.
Yeah.
So I think that for business owners, whether you're a small business owner, a solopreneur, or in a marketing division at a corporation, the concepts about live video really need to be pushed forth in a marketing plan, especially as we move into 2018, because it's not going away. If there's any headline you could say, it's not going away. And for people who think that they could just use the microphone, gone are the days that you are only getting your message out via a microphone. And it's not because it really is because the technology that's around us right now is pushing us, it's forcing us to look good and sound good on camera and to be confident. Because when you're asking me, how did we get to this point, you know, the Facebooks of the world, the Twitters of the world,
telling us.
the LinkedIns of the world are saying, guess what? If you post a video it will get this many views according to our algorithm. If you post a live video, it will get this many views according to our algorithm.
Definitely.
And for those of you that are listening versus seeing us, I just did an explosion because
explosion. I feel I'm like sitting here like this, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm on live.
Yeah,
I should be more expressive.
You need to be more animated, right? No, but for people who are listening, that goes to show you that this is something, it's not going away. The numbers, according to their algorithms, mean that we have to go live to get more numbers.
Yes.
So that's just the business strategy that now we have to plan for.
And you know, and I tell my clients, because I do content writing, the podcast is just something I enjoy doing, but behind the scenes, I'm writing content for my customers. And while my comfort zone is behind the scenes, I tell them all the time, when we're talking about social media, when you're talking about things on your website, you need to be putting video together.
Right.
You just have to.
Yeah.
And I see the results when I'm posting video for myself or my clients. You can just see you're getting better interaction. And I even know, like with Facebook Live, it alerts you, hey, so-and-so is on Facebook Live.
Yeah, so say hi to Peck.
Hi, Peck. Can you hear us, Peck? We were not.
Yeah, we were concerned about our audio going into this. So if you could leave us a message that you hear us well and it's not hollow sounding, that would be amazing.
So it's been, it is a really interesting kind of path that we've been going on to a transition into video. And I think that plays into the whole businesses need to be more authentic nowadays too. And so you're having to, especially as a small business owner, you're the face of the business. It's not just, I can have my business and no one knows what's behind the scenes or who the person is running the business. People want to interact with it. It just says hi, Peck.
Thank you, Peck. Can you? I'm assuming you can hear us that because we requested that. Awesome.
Loud and clear.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo. Great. Yay. So my next question is what are some tips of for people thinking about going live? What's the first thing that they could start doing? For me, I haven't gone live on my page. So what's something that I could do on my page?
Now you are.
Now I am.
I tagged you. You're going live. So I think the first step for a business owner is to understand that even though you're live, you need to plan out what you're going to say. Don't kill the messenger. But that's just the reality of it to a degree.
Yeah.
Do I expect scripts to be written, memorized, and then executed on live video? Absolutely not, nor would that be that authentic piece that you're talking about. But I do always say you have to start off with a plan. So if you want to go live, the first thing you should think about is, how am I going to engage an audience? What am I going to do differently? What's the content that I'm going to talk about? Right? That's a big question. And then how do I take that content and sculpt it in a way where I'm going to get more viewership? So that's the first question. What are you going to be talking about? Because I personally don't like the videos where you just flip open your Facebook page and you just sit there with your pajamas on and wait for someone to talk. So I'm not a fan of that. And I think as we move forward with video in the business world, it has to be about executing a message. And I would argue executing that message fairly quickly.
Yes. So I think that falls into a lot of other content strategy in general, right? You think about, what is the message I'm trying to get across? Does it fit within the different platforms I'm trying to get across on? And I really like the idea. You're saying this, I'm really thinking I would sit down with a little outline and then just talk off the points on the outline.
So I'm going to give you the outline. Okay. Would you like an outline?
I would love an outline.
Let's have an outline together. So if you're a small business owner out there and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be my first Facebook Live, you first need to have your subject, right? So you think about your subject. So let's use today, for example.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're using this podcast. If we were going to restart this podcast, maybe we would do something a little bit exciting when it comes to an audio check, right?
Yes.
Right? Maybe we start off with saying check one, or something that's going to engage people in 3 seconds or less. That's your barometer.
Okay.
Then you introduce yourself.
All right.
Okay, so you don't introduce yourself first. Everybody seems to think that matters.
Interesting.
So I hate to say this, but here's a little snippet of throwing you some knowledge right now. Nobody cares about who you are and what you do. Ooh, it's
Oh, that's
painful,
different
right?
Yeah,
It's painful.
That is interesting. Okay.
Because and that's because of the Facebook algorithm. If I
yes.
need to get you to watch this video in 3 seconds or less, then I need to do something awesome off the top.
You're talking about getting attention. No one cares who you are and what you do when it comes to getting attention.
I'm talking about engagement.
Okay.
Right? So for people to engage in the content, I can't start off saying, hey, I'm Michelle Berto and blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares who I am or what I've done. Nobody cares. They care about what the takeaways are going to be for that particular video. So the first step is engage. Okay, there's 4 steps total. So the first step is engage. The second step is after you engage, then you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Step 3 is your meat and potatoes. So what value are you bringing to the video? What are the tidbits that you're offering?
Okay.
And then step 4 is a call to action, right? So before you even press live, you want to make sure that there's a reason you're going live.
Okay.
If you're doing this for business, if you're doing this for entertainment, that's a little bit different. If you're going to show me a Facebook Live around Disney World, that is a different feel than if I'm giving you business tips on how to look good and sound good on camera. You want to be in and you want to be out.
You're talking about specifically like if we're kind of that talking head type video.
I hate that phrase.
I know it's not a good phrase. I know, but it was the only thing that came up the top of my head.
So so you know, if you're doing interviews, if you're throwing content at people to use in their business, you want to do it in a creative way. So maybe you're not a talking head per se, but yes, in short.
I'm talking about that type of video as opposed to like, let's give a home tour, let's give the Disney tour, or something like that.
Now, if you're a realtor, you should be going on Facebook Live every chance you get.
Anytime you step into a new home.
I mean, let's just brainstorm if you're a realtor. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Lauren. Thanks for joining us. So if you're a realtor, by the way, we should reset the scene. If you're just joining us, we're doing a podcast, hence the microphones. We're recording a podcast for Orlando Lady Boss that's coming out later on this week.
Yes.
And then I encoured her to go on Facebook Live with it instead.
Yes. So we're doing a little something new for me. A little something new for Michelle.
Yeah, and this is Diana, by the way.
Hi, Diana.
Okay, so if you're a realtor out there, let's just brainstorm that right now because you have so many opportunities. You could be going on Facebook Live for your open houses. You could be going on Facebook Live with school officials who are going to be talking about whether or not the school district is good and if families should move there for their kids, right? You could be driving around, let's say downtown Winter Garden or downtown Orlando or College Park.
Doing community spotlights through
Absolutely. I mean, your goal as a realtor is to bring people into that community who are thousands of miles away.
Yes.
Right? So your opportunities are really endless. You, in essence, are a brand marketing manager for the areas that you cover: Windermere, Winter Garden, Orlando, College Park. And that's your job, is to showcase those areas in the best light. So sky's the limit for you guys.
Yeah, realtors, I feel like, have an untapped market for Facebook Live videos or live videos. Because the other thing I like about live videos on Facebook is once you record them, you can upload them to YouTube and other places later. And so even though you're going live at the moment on Facebook, then you can take that video and use that content elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So you're getting that extra boost from Facebook and then
I do that all the time. That's my strategy. I do a Facebook Live. This is very real. So people are wondering, I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do. Here's what you do. You do your Facebook Live. You download that content. You upload it to YouTube. You write that version. Then you send it on Twitter. Then you put it on Instagram. Maybe you do Instagram stories as well. And what else? And LinkedIn too.
Yeah,
so
you could always turn it into an audio file and put it into a podcast. Write a blog post off of it. There's so many different ways of where you can take your content after you've done that one video. And you just have to think about it creatively. Yeah.
Are any of you guys out there business owners? I know Lou just joined, so I know Lou will definitely have something to say about this. But for those of you that are business owners out there, feel free to chime in on what your strategy is when you use live video and how you take it in one platform and disseminate it across several.
Yeah, I would love to hear other creative ideas of what people are doing to recycle their own content into different platforms.
And I have to show this for Lou. This is not going to be good for your podcast. But guys, if you're listening, I'm showing my Yankees Tervis cup.
That's okay. We'll link everything. We'll link this video in the podcast. And so you can go and watch the video if you choose to watch the video instead of the audio version this time around. Since
it's just iced tea. I don't want to see any crazy comments. All right, guys, it's just iced tea.
So you do, not only are you doing training for internet videos and Facebook videos, but you're doing it for people to be on the news and media training in general. So what does that kind of look like?
So the ad, she's saying, how did you get here?
Yeah, how did you get here? Like, you know, how do you gain this type of expertise and how do you disseminate it to people afterwards? So I know that's a weird question. A weird way to phrase it.
No, I think that you're asking about the journey.
Yeah, the journey.
What's the journey been like thus far? And so I mentioned in the introduction that I used to do television news. I used to anchor the morning newscast here in Orlando at Fox super early in the morning, and several other markets.
So you had to be on very bright and cheerful, like super early. Yes. That's a skill.
With no coffee at that.
Oh, no.
Oh, I have to chime in and offer this because Lou was saying that there are great automation tools out there. We were talking about repurposing content, doing one video, for instance, on Facebook Live and then dispersing it through different mediums. And he's recommending Simple Social Press. Simple Social Press takes Facebook Live and creates a blog post from it. Yay!
Oh, really? That's really,
love you.
I'm totally going to check that out. That's really
Thank you, Lou.
Cool. Thank you.
Lou's such a rock star, superstar.
So what exactly has your journey been like going from where you start to where you've ended up now?
Yeah, sure. So I was doing television news, and I was always on in the morning. And I had my son in 2015. And that was really the precipice of so many things. Actually, I should backtrack a little bit. When I chose to leave the Orlando market, I started this business. And it was media training. And it was a very organic transition because I was interviewing doctors, lawyers, chefs, authors, small business owners, top corporate executives. And it was shocking to me how they were not prepared for what a television interview would be like and the opportunity that they could be squandering. You know, a lot of people speak very well during a presentation, but yet when they have a camera in front of them, they just freak out. They get very tense and they miss out on the opportunity to reach thousands and in this case millions of potential viewers, right? So it's a big mistake. We have to prepare for that opportunity.
Yeah, especially because those segments are usually, you have to be very to the point and get your message across in a very concise way.
I didn't even pay her. No, that's called a soundbite.
Well, that's what I noticed. I mean, I'm a studier of marketing and messaging, and so any place where I see someone doing that very well, and the news is a place where you have a very small amount of time to get your message across.
Right, and that's changing. You know, television news is changing, but right now we have a finite period of time to shove in as many stories as possible that impact the community, and there is an angst of getting that message across in 10 seconds or less. So that was the start for me. I had so many interviews and people not knowing where to put the microphone, or the fact that they shouldn't be wearing stripes or checkered blouses and things like that, that I chose to start in 2012 my media training business. And I walked away from TV, and I always had that drive to be an entrepreneur. So it wasn't scary for me at all. It was actually a very expected transition.
It felt like the next step.
Absolutely. It was just going to be my next move. Everybody else thought I was crazy.
I always felt that way too.
Except for Lou. Lou pushed me towards this. Now I think he's crazy. No.
Well, you need those people in your corner that just see what your vision is.
You need your people.
Yeah, you need
You're my people.
So Lou, awesome. Good job, Lou.
So I did that for a while, and then I got my dream job in Atlanta doing the morning news there. So I actually dipped out of doing this full time, and I went back into news, and that's when I had my son.
Okay.
And then he was born prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so much of an emotional, I hate to use the word struggle. It was such an emotional time.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, it has to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, it was intense. So after that happened, I knew kind of that organic feeling again. I knew that my next step was to restart where I left off. So I started off in media training. This is a very long answer for you, but I started off in media training.
This is what the podcast is about. The podcast is very much more of a open conversation that's an interview. So
I started off in media training, and then at that point it was around 2015, and we were at that stage of the game where video became more of a factor on Facebook and Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. So I actually used those skills from the media training and pushed them more towards the mainstream is what I'll say, so that small business owners and corporate executives can start using their own video in their marketing plan. And they need to be comfortable on camera too. Yeah. It doesn't have to be for TV cameras anymore. Yeah. We all have cameras. I say we're all citizen journalists. Anybody can whip out their phone and say, I want an interview.
It is true. I mean, each individual is changing what the scape of media looks like.
I mean, look at this. This is your platform.
This is my platform
that you created.
And we're on your platform that you've created. So, we're cross sharing our stuff, but we're all creating our own platforms where we can create content and material and share our worldviews and what we want to see in the world.
Right. And when we think about that at the small business or corporate level, that's called brand journalism. And that's a very real strategy that people are using for their marketing plans. And brand journalism, if you're new to that concept, is basically saying, instead of relying on TV media to give me coverage and exposure, wait a minute, look at all the technology we have. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take back that control, and I'm going to offer myself the platform, and I'm going to put myself out there. So we see that Southwest Airlines was a pioneer in brand journalism, and now we see a lot of the bigger corporations just starting to embrace what a lot of small business owners and solopreneurs have been doing for quite some time. Yeah. Because, everybody needs money, honey.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I think it goes back to the whole, people want to understand the story and the people behind what the business is or what the business is about and what their values are. They want to be authentic. They want to feel like they're buying from people and organizations that are sharing their values. And so these are just new ways for us to get that message across to our ideal audiences.
Yep, absolutely. And so to finish that very long answer, it's been a convergence, as we move forward as a society with different technologies that are out there to get messages across. It just happened to be at a time where live video became more of a factor. And then I transitioned all of those live reporting skills that I've honed for 15 years and I created my own programmings to get people comfortable and confident on camera.
Awesome. Yeah. So what are some, beginning tips or pieces of advice that you would give to someone if they're just completely brand new to live or wanting to maybe go out and pitch ideas to a news organization so they can get on news?
So it depends what you do.
Those might be two different things.
Yes, they are very much two different things. But I also always talk about the circle of media life.
Okay.
And so I talk about media pitching is something else that I teach people how to do, how to pitch themselves. And then I teach them how to prepare for that TV interview. And then also that third leg is how to do it for ourselves, right? So
there are three, you did a really good job. These are the 3 areas of my business. I know I am not that concise when I explain for myself. So awesome.
We need on-camera training, right? But no, it's a little bit about going through that exercise for your business. So I always say, if you're just starting out, here's a great exercise for you to do. Whip out your phone.
Okay.
Tell me in 10 seconds or less who you are and what you do. And if you can execute that in 10 seconds or less, then you're well on your way to developing concise, clear, and conversational content. Those are my pillars that I talk about in my training. You have to be clear, you have to be concise, and you have to be conversational.
Gotcha. Okay, I like that advice. I'm like thinking through my head how I would do that. I feel like you're going to ask me to test for a test. I don't know if I can.
My gosh.
I feel very nervous
Oh
right now.
my goodness, you shouldn't. You're doing awesome.
So,
thank you for the love, guys. We see all your hearts and
so
thumbs ups.
I see the behind the scenes here on what you're using for your Facebook Live, but is there any pieces of equipment or technology specifically?
I'm laughing because Lou, if you're still here, I hope you're laughing too.
You know, I get this question asked a lot about podcasting, and I was like, you don't want to ask me, but
no, I always talk about. I am a stickler for the words you say and how you say them.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that statement. The words you say and how you say them.
Mm-hmm.
So my expertise is how you deliver your message. A, do you know what your message is?
Mm-hmm.
And then how are you delivering it? Are you delivering it with conviction?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ending on a high inflection and you're making a statement, but at the same time asking a question? That doesn't work, right? If you want to communicate your ideas effectively and with confidence. So that's where I always focus for all of my trainings. When it comes to the technology part, to answer your question, I do what you do.
Yeah.
We're on my laptop, right? And we have microphones hooked up to the computer and we're just chatting with everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's my setup is almost exactly the same. We just have slightly different programs running on the computer. So
Right.
it's really simple to get set up when you want to don't let the technology scare you. I always like to ask that question because people ask me and I said, you could do it as simply on your phone. It's not going to be the greatest, but just get out there and do it first. And then try to,
better than nothing.
Better than nothing. Get out there, do it once, and then you can start buying the equipment once you start feeling more comfortable just doing the actual act of being on Facebook Live or podcasting or whatever it is, what you're using your technology for.
Now, I know that you're the one asking questions, but can you tell everybody what number podcast this is?
This will be 34.
Okay.
I think. 34.
So you've been doing it for 34 weeks, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you come out weekly.
Yeah, I come out weekly. We started in January, so we're off. Like I've taken a few weeks off for just various things.
For life.
I'm one person, so there's only so much I can do. But the microphone you see on the screen, my husband literally had lying around, and he's like, "Here you go." And
what a supportive husband!
Yeah,
I like that.
My husband's totally supportive, and I think that anyone that listens to the podcast will hear me talk about how awesome he is. So, I keep thinking of like a fun name to call him, like Mr. Lady Boss or something. But
I don't know if he's gonna like that.
Probably. The thing is he's so great, he would not care.
Kristen, hello, my dear friends.
Hello, everyone.
You know what? We should probably reset the scene as we continue talking here. So we are recording a podcast for Orlando Lady Boss. This is the Orlando Lady Boss, Diana Griffith. Thank you so much for coming to my home.
Yeah.
We're in my living room because my son's sleeping upstairs.
Yeah, it's much better in my home. Like as people who listen to the podcast know, I have moved recently, so my house is a mess right now. So You're allowed. I'm excited to be in a nice open home that I put together.
Although I feel like I need to lower the AC. I'll be right back, everybody. So continue asking questions.
So, my next question for you is, let's pull this up. I have my questions that
we detoured.
So
I'm trying to think I'm making sure that we bring value to your friends. Hi, Kristen. Mwah, mwah. Kisses. So we were talking about how to get started with Facebook Live. We were talking about the steps. We went through the 4 steps of what you need to do before you press live. And that was engage, introduce, your meat and potatoes, your bullet points, and then a call to action. And then we talked about some great feedback from Lou, who was a part of the conversation. Why are you laughing?
I'm sitting here thinking, like, I really hope that the people on audio are getting advice from this, because I feel like I'm just learning, on the screen right now. I feel like I'm getting like a nice little session from you.
And I'm learning too, because I don't have a podcast, to be honest with you. I started doing Facebook Live because I'm too lazy to edit a podcast, and it's very time consuming. So I give you a lot of kudos.
It's really funny because I have a lot of people that say that who do Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to edit it. It is what it is. Talk about being genuine. You only get one shot, and it's out there.
Yeah, because it's funny because I'm the opposite, where I've had people on the podcast who are not real. They haven't done any type of media at all, and so they come in, they're very nervous, and I just say, I'm not here to do a gotcha interview. If we need to stop, we'll stop.
Right.
Like, compose
She's
yourself.
so kind. I'm like, no, we're going, and we're just going to keep going until it's over.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about trial by fire.
Yeah.
Though, too.
So here's my question to everybody who's a part of this conversation right now. What is the craziest thing that has happened to you if you've done Facebook Live for your business?
Ooh, I would
because we've all had them.
love to hear that.
I'm going to go first. I am going to say that one of my first Facebook Lives, I had everything pristine, tripod, everything was perfect, lighting was perfect, and then I go live and my camera falls in the first 10 seconds.
Oh no.
So there goes my perfect performance there. But yeah, I mean, people ask me all the time, what happened? What do you do if you mess up live? And there really is no messing up because it's live and you kind of have to just roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, when you're talking about any type of media period, people are way more forgiving than you think that they're going to be.
Right.
And you just have to remember to say, sorry, oops, this is live and we're going to move on and just keep going.
Kristen, if you're still with us, I feel as that she's from Maine, and I feel as if you've gone running, and I've seen a Facebook Live after your run.
Oh.
Kristen goes live everywhere. She's a Facebook Live queen.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to.
So yeah, if you have any other tidbits, Kristen, feel free to share them as well with everybody.
Well, I don't have any. I went live when this crazy thing happened because I haven't gone live. I did on my personal page once, but just a short little thing. And
well, now after this, I hope that you start.
I will tag you.
Yes.
Hey, look, I'm live. So
I'm using my 4 steps. I'm engaging. I'm introducing myself. I'm putting my meat and potatoes out there, and I have a call to action.
So I think that we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up.
Okay.
And so one question I like to always leave on is, what is a piece of advice that's stuck with you over the years? See, now I caught her.
Pause for effect. What is the one piece of advice
piece of advice that's just stuck with you?
I don't want to be trite and say keep moving forward or anything like that. I think that the best piece of advice, if you're a small business owner, is don't think that you could do this alone, right? I think that's just something that we need to accept. So the advice that I received and I acted on, because advice is only good unless you act on it, right? Is to create a circle of people around you that are going to keep pushing you forward. And I have to thank Kristen for that, because she has been my accountability partner week in and week out, and she's just amazing. I'm pausing because I'm reading Kristen's comment. I went live and forgot to press end and kept talking on the hot mic. It was a big no-no. That is a great piece of advice. Don't do that, right?
Make sure that you turn it off.
So I think that I got this piece of advice last year at Lou Mangello's Momentum 2016 conference, and it was really to make sure that you have people around you that are the right people. When I first started this, I wasn't around the right people, and that was exasperated in my business. It showed up in my business.
Oh my gosh,
right?
I can feel I know exactly what you're talking about, because I feel like, and it's a skill to develop, who are those right people to surround yourself with to support you, because as you become more clear, you'll understand who are the right people that's helping you push you towards what you really want to do versus what they think you want to do or how they think they're being supportive.
So if you really want to serve people and you put out that great positive energy, I just believe that you will get those great people who want to serve people and are not doing this for any other means. That'll be you'll gravitate towards each other. And then it really is the universe working with you. And, I believe in God, not to get like religious on this, but
you can talk about whatever it is you like on my episode or on my podcast.
But I feel like people are brought into your life for a reason at a certain time for a reason. And if you are enlightened by that, if you're willing to accept that they're there to help you and you help them, then you're a team now. Pushing to the next level. So, hey, Steve, so good to see you.
Well, I think that is such fantastic advice, Michelle, because I felt that in my own business as I have found the right people to help make me feel more confident in growing my business or making the right steps. You're right. You can't do this alone if you're a business owner. You have to find the people surrounding you, even if you're not paying someone or having employees yet.
Right. No, and I'll be really vulnerable here. So when I first started this in 2012, I went through a period where I feel as if I was going through a bit of a depression because I am extremely social. That's why I'm a journalist. I love talking to people. I love getting their story. I love bringing that story to life. And then all of a sudden you find yourself at a desk in your bedroom, in your home, in your dining room, in your living room, and you're working, and you're not getting dressed in the morning. You're drinking your coffee at your computer. and you lose that connection with people. And I honestly felt a dip in my business because I wasn't reaching out. And it was only after I got myself up, got my head out of the computer, going to more networking events and really surrounding myself with the right people that things started to change.
Yeah, I think you hit on something that a lot of small business owners feel too, is that whole I am by myself for days on end because I have work to do and I just can't get out of the house, and really just scheduling in like, okay, I'm going to push myself to get out because you don't have those coworkers to rely on for the small talk or anything like that. And
it's lonely.
Yeah.
It's a lonely
you
gig.
Have your son. I don't know if you have any pets. I only have pets. So I'm talking to my
I could give you a cat. Husband, if you're watching that, I just gave Bella away.
I take no responsibility for that one. So, Michelle, besides Facebook, where else could we find you out on the internet?
Thank you for asking that. I post I do a weekly video, and you can find that on my Facebook page. You could also find it on my YouTube channel. I talk about it on Twitter and link it back. My website, everything is on my website. If any of this interests you, if you're starting to think about video, hop onto my website, go to the blog tab, and all my videos are there, and it's just a slew of content for you to go through. And that's michelleberto.com. So
and we'll put all of those into the show notes so you guys can find it through OrlandoLadyBoss.com. I'm going to shout out since we're on Facebook Live. And you can find me anywhere at Orlando Lady Boss on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's where I live.
And then when do your downloads for the podcast?
Every Friday. So you can listen to this episode this Friday, and we come out most Fridays. At the end of the year, I'll be taking a few weeks off because it's Christmas.
There's no off. There's no off when you're celebrating.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a giving mood, and anybody who is listening to this and you do want to connect, I am going to offer a free 15-minute phone consultation to anybody who wants to get started, because again, it's all about giving back and serving people, and I want to be able to do that to your tribe. So.
Yeah, and I love that. I definitely think you guys should take advantage of this. And I will tell you that I met Michelle through Shelly Easter. And Shelly was on the podcast, and she was one when I first met her. I'm not sure she had been talking to you yet or not. And she was very nervous because she was like, this is my first one. And I just know that she's done so much in the last few months about being out and visible. And I know that that's a big thanks to you. And I feel like I've gotten a lot of stuff that I can take home and use. So
it's a circle of life.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for being
I feel like we need hugs.
Yes,
I always say big hugs at the end of everything that I do. Thanks so much, guys, for everybody who stayed with us through the recording of this podcast. I really appreciate it. I feel like if anything, if if this was too much jibber jabber for you and you're looking to hone in on a couple of things that we said, we said that you have to be a part of live video, not just video, but live video, because it's not going anywhere. And we're already moving forward to 360 video and live 360 and virtual reality stuff.
Yes,
so you have to own video. It has to be a part of your marketing plan for 2018 and beyond. You have to be comfortable and confident and authentic on camera, being clear, concise, and conversational. The way to do that, what I say, is boil it down to 4 steps. Engage, introduce, use your nuggets of wisdom, usually 3, and then have a call to action. So that is in and of itself enough for you to go home and like really ponder it and really focus on how you have to be your own client in order to push your business forward.
And it's such a great time to be thinking about this if you're thinking about what your content strategy is for 2018, because now is the time to be thinking about the next few months.
Editorial calendar.
Yeah,
if you don't have one, you need one.
Yeah, that's another episode. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, and we'll see you next time.
All right, high five it.
All right.
And big hugs.
Bye.
All right, we're pressing in. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us.